Europe has always been everyone's dream destination for a summer vacation. It's like this one huge country where more than the name of the countries, it's the name of the cities that stand out. From cruising the canals of Venice to falling in love with Paris and enjoying the midnight sun in Scandinavia, there are some amazing experiences that are unique to Europe only. Let's take a look at some of them. First up, slow sailing to Portugal. While air travel is super cheap within Europe, there are some places where the travel is actually part of the experience. Slow sailing to Portugal's Atlantic coastline is our recommended way of visiting the beautiful city. You'll be welcomed to the Douro Valley, which is genuinely wonderful. As soon as you reach the inland of Porto, you'll be greeted by ancient farms and Baroque villages built on steep slopes. It's a sight to behold, and it's truly where Europe begins. Personal experiences are worth it too. You can lunch with owners of one of the mansions among the vineyards, and these small ship cruises can truly be an experience that lives with you for a lifetime. Don't forget to take a trip to Lisbon, where the ship will glide you past a magnificent fortress, and you'll see dozens of towers and houses, along with mansions and churches. If you have the time, Portimão too deserves a visit. Its orange trees and strong coffee are the highlights of the town, and if you're interested in history, a trip to its museum will definitely fill your appetite. Up next, high tea at Sketch London. We're sure you've visited your fair share of high-end and fancy high tea unions, but have you ever had the pleasure of doing all that in Mayfair, Sketch London? There's a bizarre yet captivating feel to this place, as it offers its unique take on high tea, filling tourists with a memorable drinking and dining experience that no other place could possibly match. All 5 of its rooms have their own themes, so you'll probably have to keep coming back to experience Sketch at its best. The most famous one is the gallery, of course. We don't want to ruin the surprise, but it's a room swaddled in pink velvet, and if you're a fan of David Shrigley's quirky and darkly humorous work, then you'll absolutely love it. Oh, and do not get us started on the food. It is, simply put, incredible. The finger sandwiches and the tiny cakes are so worth it. The tea isn't too bad either. Moving on, canyoning in Switzerland. This just sounds like a dream, doesn't it? Well, it doesn't have to be. Are you a thrill seeker? Even if you aren't, this is one experience that should be on your checklist. Canyoning in Switzerland is purely action-packed, and it's a sport where you can see thrill seekers jump, slide, and rappel their way from one spot to another. Did we mention a 10-meter cannonball dive into a frigid alpine rock pool? We might have missed it, but you definitely won't. Lots of jumps are accompanied by a zip line over a waterfall. Yeah, it sounds fun, and trust us, it's worth it. You just won't have more fun, and while your shrieks of laughter fill the belly of Grimsel Canyon, they won't be the only ones you hear. On to marriage in Italy. We know marriage is the most magical day of anyone's life, and there are so many things to plan and decide for that day to happen, right? Well, not if you're in Europe, or should we say Italy. Greece isn't too far behind, but we think Italy's still the favorite place for destination weddings. Of course, we're not asking you to rush into anything, but if you've been together for a while, you could easily just escape to Italy to elope. Don't believe us? You wouldn't have to if you're in Italy, because the abundance of art, the stunning landscapes, and of course the culinary delights will help you with the decision. The land of La Dolce Vita remains high on everyone's dream destination wedding, so even if it's not on yours, let the surroundings do their magic. A fairy tale backdrop, tying the knot overlooking the sea, and some fantastic photographers who know the location inside out. You really just need to be there. Not to mention a new style of river cruise. Cruising has almost always been considered to be the domain of retired baby boomers, but like everything else, that too has been reimagined in Europe, and the new idea keeps the millennials in mind. This offers a new generation of cruisers and is tailor-made for 21 to 45-year-old adventurers looking to cruise straight into the heart of Europe's most dynamic cities. You don't have to worry about a thing, because You by Uniworld will do all that for you. All you have to do is savor the moments and the landscapes and just let it all in. You'll have everything on the cruise, from a waterfront hotel to transport and dining rooms, along with a yoga studio and nightclubs all rolled into one. Along with all that, you can also take night bike rides along the Danube to cheese tasting in Amsterdam. They've truly got you covered. Do you fancy a late-night visit to the Moulin Rouge? Well, river cruising is officially cool, and you better get on it right away. After that, cycling through Leipzig's nightlife. Berlin is cool, yes, but have you ever been to Leipzig, especially at night? New York Times called it better than Berlin, and while Germans don't buy into the hype, there's no denying that this East German city is a boomtown, to say the least. If you're an artistic and creative type, you'll absolutely love this city of cheap rent, high quality of life, and opportunity, and it's truly the coolest place for the coolest of people. In fact, the best thing you can do is to take a bike ride in the city late at night as you kick off at Kaiserbad's Beer Garden and pedal through the entire city, taking a sip at the Vietnamese chimumi or a look at the Spinnerary's events. Interested in parties? It's Leipzig, so they'll be a bit under the radar, but if you want to be in and around the place for impromptu gatherings, then Sachsenbrook is the place to be. At least, that's where the locals gather. Also, island hopping in Greece. Before you say skip, allow us to change your mind, because it might not be unique, but it's definitely one of the best experiences that Europe has to offer. Greece's remodeling by Karl Lagerfeld brought it back as vogue, and since then, Greece's economy might have taken a hit, but the tourism industry has continuously been on the rise. The best activity in Greece is island hopping, and the best part, it is super cheap. Lesser-known islands are even cheaper, and if you make it to the Aegean island, well, you have the perfect spot for uploading those selfies with the white cubist architecture making the background. We'd also suggest a ferry ride from Athens to the Cyclades or the rugged Ithaki in the Ionian Sea, but for all that, you'll have to make it to Greece first. Making the list, the hauntings in Edinburgh. The British may be the champions of dry humor, but the Scots sure know how to bring a dark dose of humor along with their superb but wicked storytelling. So as much as the Black Mausoleum is the attraction, it's always better to give it a visit with a guide, because you want the full experience, don't you? It's considered to be one of the world's most haunted cities, so you have the opportunity to visit the eerie vaults below the Royal Mile as you get a gruesome history lesson. Then you can test your nerves in the corners of the Black Mausoleum, which also remains the resting place of the Mackenzie poltergeist, the most famous and feared presence of Edinburgh. Nobody knows what the real story is, but don't concern yourself with facts. Have fun, get spooked, and you'll enjoy every second of your visit to this gorgeous city. Lastly, a cruise in Russia's rivers. While this may not be possible for the next couple of years, given the current situation in Ukraine and Russia, this is an experience that had to make the list. We suggest a Viking river cruise along the waterways of the Tsars, which includes the three picturesque rivers of the Volga, Svir, and Neva. You can't possibly miss what St. Petersburg's palaces have to offer you as you make that cruise, from the Winter Palace to the Catherine Palace, and of course the Peterhof Palace, which was the summer playground of the Tsars and overlooks the Gulf of Finland. You can also enjoy your time in the evening by taking a breeze through the traditional folkloric music in Moscow, and lunch in Uglik with homemade vodka is something you just can't afford to miss. Finally, you can end the Russian trip by visiting the Romanov tombs, but throughout that visit, one thing's for sure, you'll feel very much welcome by Russian hospitality. That's a wrap for this video. Which of these unique experiences makes you want to book the next flight to Europe? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.